And next up, we are playing the wonderfully named Big Muff, all caps, from Australian, who was, I think, last pick for the blue team, and to my money that's massively undervaluing his abilities. He's a really good designer, nails environments, and this one looks no less so. Blue team, I know, have been really excited about watching this one come together. So yeah, we're going to see how this plays out. Now, it's definitely rivaling Dayupa for best name in the contest so far. What tees would you like to play? Blue. Any further conditions? It's all fun. Are there any key design features? It's big. Intended difficulty, medium, tough as EC/elite. Any real life courses? No. Keeps things simple, which we appreciate. So we're just going to leap straight in. Let's go with pin 3 for a bit of variety. Yeah, I mean, Australian hasn't been in contest for quite some time. He was in a CC contest with me way back when, which was both our first contests. He had Winjana, which I want to say finished like 12th or so, which was a really cool course. And since then he's just done a lot of kind of individual stuff, and just he just drops really cool environments. A lot of stuff based on Australia, so Toowoomba's one I remember. I can't remember the names of the other ones. They're always slightly mental names. So anyway, this one. I mean, we're looking at desert, I think. Really cool island. Like there is a lot of big stuff going on here. So width and angle is clearly a premium, and I mean, you can see we've got some gigantic fairways going on, which I suspect will be something that is both a pro and a con in places. Planting, I know he redid late on and just looks fantastic. So let's have a little dip down and look at some of that. Like the terrain work looks really good, because none of that's rocks, that's just all natural terrain. Grasses, clearly loads of time gone into that. The thing he spent the most time on was varying bushes and things, because it did all look quite samey. Or rather, like, I don't know, it was one bush to use over and over again. Varying that has made a huge difference. I think he also changed the lighting pretty late on to the moody overcast stuff, which again I think looks really good. The beach looks phenomenal. So yeah, double water plane trick plus spamming some sand in and around the base makes this look outstanding. So yeah, really excited to give this one a play. As you can see, we've got some very sloping, undulating fairways and things, big greens, a lot of bunkers, not actually that tight to greens, which I think allows us to work the ball into pins a little bit better. So yeah, let's see how we go. First hole, all sorts of width. So first thing that strikes me is that we've got a fairway coming all the way down here, which I guess helps with planting meter. But it does narrow significantly up here. So he's basically saying you can lay up as much here as you want, but we've got all sorts of big undulations there, or we can bomb it over there, potentially risk those two bunkers. Big old green. Loads of slope in there. I mean, if we carry it over that, we're getting a big hit off the downslopes, and that's something. Might be too far. Oh no, we're good. I mean, it's still a pretty exacting shot due to that big fall off behind the frontier. And then we've got a hilarious pin, presumably back here, that you can work the ball into quite nicely. Kind of grass bunker here, I guess. One of those where I feel like you're cutting fairway over so much, I'd probably just keep this as fairway or make it more severe or bring planting in. Or put a bunker there. It's a little more than I intended. Sit hard. Nope. And then I presume the greens are going to be like part of the defence, basically. So we should hit a lot of greens in reg, you'd hope. Ah, good pace. Greens are base greens are 187. Yep, we went I had a little fly around the beach earlier. It's really nicely done. Love the layering of the planting. The look is great. Just clubhouse looks awesome. Just do not have that much negative to say about this one at all at the moment. Hell of a camber this way, so if we're not quite clearing... so I saw this one off originally and figured it more for a par 3 than a par 5. I also really like the little sand paths. I think those look great. So you can lay up anywhere around here, but you've got to be very careful not to run off the fairway. I mean, if you're ending up here, you're way off. Hoping that extra little bit of loft carries it, even though it wasn't best strike. I do also like with this one, you kind of want it to be pretty central to be able to see the green and to be able to... And it's kind of reflected in the angle. Further right we are, we're going over this little false front. Further left we get a bit more of a channel. Don't think I need all of it. Might need a little more than that though. Get a hard bounce up. Lighting's really cool. Ah, 85% was not what we were after. I really like the restraint with the trees, like very Tahiti-ish, where there's just a few little clusters of them, that's it. Because again, would have been really easy and like quite a... kind of a newer designer would tend to just dot little like odd pines everywhere because they make it easy. Like it's the easier route with planting. It blocks out a lot of dead space. It adds something of interest, and from an individual hole, it looks all right. But I think it looks it's way more classy when we've got just little clusters around. Dune planting looks great. Like the variety and the way you've changed it is really good. This green's a bit big for my taste. And I suspect you knew that was coming. Dunno, I think we could lose a third of this and it plays probably better. Love the little houses in the background as well. And that one big road looks class too. Yeah, I think the one thing we get with greens that are this big is you can often kind of just avoid the slopes a little. Or you end up really segmenting your greens. Like, I kind of learned that one the hard way. It's really tough to make really big greens very well. Oh, sure that was in. I mean, still by no means easy, but like... it's just a different kind of challenge, isn't it? So again, really bold slopes. I think what I'd probably like as well is just a little bit more internal, like you've obviously really clearly defined your red slopes and what those areas are. Personally would like a little bit more internal contouring on those tiers, like subtler yellows or like light greens, things like that. Oh, would be so much fun if this was downwind. As is, there's a ton of space down here. Anything here is kicking into that bunker, which I think is really well placed. Why don't we go down here somewhere? I mean, there's all sorts of space here that we could use, which no one's really going to because you're coming dead over that spine. I mean, probably the smart play is something over here. This is a lot of fun. Because, like, for all the width, I don't really feel this is that safe of a play. Did try to hit the fast there in the hope that we hit the spine, and then that. Oh, thought that was going to kick us a little bit further down. Sandpath looks so good. And the planting is just fantastic. I know we've seen this sort of stuff with Lost Preserve. I think you've taken that style of planting and really put your own spin on it. Because there's a couple of different items you're using as well. Like the little white bush thing, this one, I think is also blending in really nicely. Awesome sightline on this hole. I mean, I think we'll get the backstop, so. I think my main critique of this course so far is just, I do think it is a little bit big. I'm all for width and angles, it just almost feels like I'm playing totally different holes, which I think is probably kind of the point of it. I know. That's why I say, like, it's a decision rather than a like you got this wrong. Definitely not. And it's not easy for having all of this fairway. Please hole apart. Thank you. That's because I am. Australian's the guy who made this. I mean, look at this work with bunker paths and like blending into the bunker is really cool. Yeah, no worries. I appreciate the title of the stream could be a bit clearer. Yeah, same thing here. There's like all of those green slopes. I would like to see those like a little bit more like some more stuff going on the plateaus where you're putting pins. I mean, I don't think I'm ever going down here, but I like to see this a touch flatter so that it would tempt people a bit more. Love those two little bunkers down there in the distance on the right. Somewhere down there, and then I think that should open up a shot to the green. Are we carrying that? 238-ish. Dicey. This has a real risk of ending up in that front bunker. I think that's okay. Yeah, never carrying that. I don't think the front bunker was necessarily the worst place to finish on that hole. Ah, pushed it. Don't have a ton more to say. I think this one's going to be very dependent on how judges feel about the extreme width. I think it's used very well, but you can kind of see with the waypoint on this one. Hey, who dat? I love the concepts. For me, it's a little too wide. But the view on this hole is stunning. This will be the one we use for the thumbnail for sure. Yeah. And it came across only about an hour ago, I think, so hence why we're doing a stream. There's a shot. Still can't hold apart though. Big course views are so good. So many pars. And I think the bunker texture is good. It really makes those pop. This is a fun one. So I think here your ratio of like big slopes to the smaller ones is, or like the little pinning plateaus, I think is a bit better. So yeah, this is all unusable, which is totally fine. The bunkering here is great. Well, let's hit something into this and see what happens. Just get over the hill. I mean, I suspect this is going to be way too long given the big slope that's just here. It's not bad, actually. Fun little punch bowl green. I was going to say, little touches like those little clusters of purple flowers and white flowers, I think really work. Just great detail work on the planting as well. Still can't hold apart. Yeah, it's all really thoughtfully done, and like there's a lot of confidence with planting like this that just actually, you know what, loads of single trees won't matter. I remember, this reminds me of that, you did a very similar hole at Winjana that was down like 100 feet. I will say I'd like the planting a little closer. This feels like just a sea of green. The hole itself is good, just we don't need fairway apron all the way around. That said, you've got to be tempted to re-reckon. Can we hit like a 10% driver? I felt like that had to be done. Oh, I'm so gutted I've missed the putt. That's such a shame. That is kind of hilarious, but yeah, I would like. I think this would look really good with a bit more planting brought in front, like just to frame it a little more. Oh, so gutted I've missed the putt. That does sum up this course though. It's just hilariously fun. Ooh, really liking these bunkers and the way they're brought into the terrain a bit more. Would have loved. Now, either I'm misremembering or I don't think we've seen this before. Would have loved to have seen those brought in a bit more earlier on the course. I'm hoping they become a like big feature of the back nine. Okay, so we can take it all the way over them, and then that bunker comes into play. Like, this is hilarious. You definitely need scout camp for this course. Like, it is really, even with all that width, it is really exacting. This is a par 4 as well. Yeah, bit of an oceanic green again. Like, when the green slope, the green grid doesn't quite cover it all. It's usually a hint. I think this will be probably okay. With the slope, I want to land it just short and try and run it down. I mean, this is a hell of a tough pin position on a giant green. Ah, red fast has killed me. Just trying to push a little too much out of that one. Another really well designed hole. I'd be interested to see how that plays into the wind. I worry that one might be a bit too long, if you've got a shorter driver and you can't quite make that carry. Yeah, again, I feel just a bit too much open space on this one. I'm kind of up here and down here. I'd have probably tried to, particularly if we're struggling for meter, which I suspect we might be based on this area, like some trees around about here to close it in. I find the super width really works well when it's balanced with like you closing the views in, so it's kind of that open to closed sort of thing. But this is the first one where I felt it does feel a little bit empty. I really love all of the stuff behind here as well, including the little house up top is cool. Yeah, same thought again with the green. Like, particularly given we've just done one other short par 3 with a huge green, it would be cool to vary that, and like the next par 3 is like, I don't know, not a super short 3 with a really big green. Still fun to play though. Please hold something. Nope. For all the giant greens, I am not making many birdies. Yeah, slightly unflattened tee box. Oh, the road area is really cool, because that would have been really easy to neglect. Love that you bunkered like the high side and let us just hit down here and deal with whatever comes. Much better proportioned green. Still not easy. Wait, which way do we want to be? Yeah, we do want to be this side of it. Yeah, anything just to the left of that bunker was going to be good, although we are dealing with a big side slope and heading back up, and yeah, this is a really tough shot. And it's going to go down that runoff at the back. I think one of the things I might have liked you to do with your runoff at the back, like I think this is, I really like the slope and where it is, but it would be great if that ball kept running. So like drop the fairway even further here. Maybe raise up so you've got a little bit more pinning position. But then if you miss it and you're long, you are way further long, rather than just like bleeding off and going, like we've got a tiny little chip back up. Particularly if you're going to add like a little bit more punishment for missing long. I think that would generally make it work a little better. Yeah, can't hold a putt, but I mean the view out to the ocean is so good. Drive ball 4. Really fun drive ball 4. And this is the kind of pin we want. I mean, this is the anti-layup pin, isn't it? You definitely want to be going for this one. So even if we're too far through, it's not really going to matter, because we should have a chip back down. Oh, got lucky. Partial driver has been on fire here. It's just not a good putt. And then overhit that one. That sums up my round. I love this little, like, this is all done with natural terrain, and it looks so good. What a hilarious tee shot. And a green. So who knows where this one ends. I mean, this is certainly a bold course. And then the world's biggest knoll green? Oh no, not quite. There's enough going on. That middle pin is going to be a bastard. That could be good. I mean, again, the view out to the ocean is so good. Like the beach work, we're just going to admire that for just 1 second. Just, environment is so well nailed. I can't do this. Awesome. And a flat part that no doubt... Oh, we made a part! Love the deception on the bunkering here, because it looks like there's loads. Like, all in kind of the same area, and in actual fact they're not really. I think bunker shaping could be a bit better on this hole. They're just, like, they're kind of there. And considering the ragged ones you did where you brought the planting in, would love to see that a bit more here and up here. I guess we're obviously fighting meter as well, but when you did do that it looked so damn good. Kind of wishing we'd had a bit more of it. Love the planting line above here, really kind of hems the hole in. Same with that little mound short left. Oh, I thought I was going to get fast. Okay. So it's another drivable 4 where it's... I think, again though, the balance is kind of, you might as well go for it. Although that is not the place to miss. Because if you don't go for it, you're faced with this shot anyway. Give me a pitch. There we go. I'm trying to think how I might change this one, because I feel like we have had two drivable par 4s where the big slopes are front to back, although we do have the like multiple tiers and things. So, I think you could have probably lowered these bunkers so they're behind the green, and if you went long it feeds into them, but that would have been similar to the other one. I think it's more about like how do we incentivize the layup rather than stop people going for it. I think you've managed pretty effectively to stop people driving the green. Oh, please stop. That was not a good putt again. Keep forgetting I'm on 187s. Yeah, it's a deserved bogey. But I think encouraging, rather than disincentivizing the go for it by saying, well, you're probably not going to hold the green, it would be cool to do it by making a really, like, super encourage the layup by saying this is the obvious play. Whereas I don't think we've had that really on the last two drivable 4s. I mean, to follow that with this is a mean hole. But I guess if your pins are down here, this is very doable. This feels like a short par 4 rather than a long par 3. But actually it's more, I was going to say it was more receptive than it looked. I think it is, still. Yeah, I'm fine with this being a par 3. It's tough. It's really borderline, this one. Again, really cool little... Don't know what the tent is, but I like it. And again, just like the way you've bled little bits of planting in there. Great. Okay, we've got a crazy width, and then we've got this hole. And this one definitely needed reining back in a little bit. Because almost all of the fairway is just a don't go. Yeah. And we'll just go down here. Thought about trying for the high side, but I don't really think it's worth it. And then we'll hit something up there. Hopefully it hits the big slope at the back and comes off. You can play some very creative shots here for sure. Would like to have a little look at the clubhouse as well now that we're here. I think that fits the course really nicely. I did like the way you led the road in, brought that in throughout the round as well a couple of times. I might need to sit just a little. That's not too bad. Well, at least we make up for that bogey on the 16th. Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to get exactly the reaction you're kind of expecting. Like, the environment is stellar. I would say probably, for me, the best environment in the contest we've played. Up there with Old Stones, which I thought also nailed that aspect. Playability-wise, it gets a bit wide for me in parts, and I think you pull the same trick a couple of times because of the width. You can't really play with people missing the green, because they're always going to hit it. You kind of have to rely on the same thing. So front-to-back greens, or really tucking pins on drive ball fours and things like that. I do think you do a very good job of encouraging people to think about where they're hitting driver in order to remain on the fairway. And still, there are a couple of times where I did club down because. What else? Yeah, I think 10 might be a real. 10 will be an interesting one into the wind. That might be a real struggle. Kind of wondering whether that's a publish error. Really hope not. What else? I don't really have too much else to say. I thought planting was stellar. Yeah, there were a couple of holes that I think were slight misses for me, like 18 and the 11th. I think that really short par 3, which, although we made it entertaining with that tee shot. But yeah, that's kind of all I've got. Really good fun. Best of luck in the contest. And yeah, I can see that will be a really interesting one to judge. I can see that really splitting a few judges. Which, I mean, it is definitely memorable. Best of luck, and right, rest of you, and that'll be me done for today. Those the last two I had to play. Enjoy your afternoon, and see you later.